nothing else matters. My feet in the stirrups, I'm so happy. There's nothing like the sound of Carolina hoofbeats.
My name is Paul Dunn. I'm the owner of Mule City Feeds here in Benson. I really appreciate y'all coming tonight. And if y'all like the food, give Ron's Barn a round of applause. We told him 200 people. Anybody want to guess how many people were here? 200. And he can't believe that, because everybody always misses the number. So that worked out great. Originally, the reason this came about was because I'm on the board of the North Carolina Horse Council, along with Rose Cushion, who does Carolina Hoofbeats, and we were asked to do something to help people who have horses to understand a little bit better about horse nutrition. And this idea was sort of batted around what would be the best way to do it. The outcome of what you're about to see may be on YouTube in 5-minute segments. You will probably see it on 1, 2, 3, or 4 Carolina Hoofbeat TV shows, or it may be a full-length feature film will go worldwide. I don't know. So to put this thing together, Matt and I have a lot of people in common. I appreciate what he does. I know y'all appreciate what he does. He opened up his brick and mortar store, you might say. And did y'all enjoy seeing that today? Yeah. I was really impressed until I realized I was sitting on what used to be a farm pond. Before they built it, it used to be a bank. Before it was a bank, that was a farm pond. And so it's and Matt keeps growing over there, so that's great for him. So we decided to put all these things together in one unit. And if you'll see on your table, you have some doodads. You have a notebook with his pure propaganda from Mule City Feeds on one side. You have a magnet. You have a pen to write with. Please write tonight now. What I suggest you write, if you want to take notes for your own personal reasons, if you have a question at the end of the show that you want us to answer, write it down and get it to Thomas over here. Just raise your hand sometime during the show, or he'll walk around when we're giving out door prizes. And we're going to pick 4 or 5 questions to answer off the cuff. We have, believe it or not, I'm sure over $1,000 in door prizes. We'll get it out about 8:45, so if you leave early, you're out of luck.
Make sure your names are on the business card. If something goes in the tumbler. I think Jana went around and got names from the folks at Panther Creek, I think. Or did we did that over at the clinic?
That's all been taken care of.
Okay.
Here's how we did it. If you called in and said, I'm coming and bringing 3 people, your name is in there 3 times as so-and-so number 1, so-and-so number 2, and so-and-so number 3. So figure out right now who's who. Or else you're going to have to fight all the way home because the person's name got called and y'all know who it is. Okay? The way this is going to work is I'm going to bring up a subject, and I'm sort of like a fire prevention officer. I try to help people prevent from having problems, but when you need a fireman, we call this guy. So it's going to be sort of tit for tat, and honestly, he has no idea what's going to come out of my mouth all night long. And that's what a fireman does. He reacts to the fire. So we're going to get started.
Every 13.7 minutes, somebody commits suicide in the United States. Join us in Tryon, North Carolina at the Fence Equestrian Center for a 5-day event like no other. On October 20th through the 24th, we are raising funds for suicide prevention and awareness. We have clinicians coming from all over for the entire 5-day stay, and we'll be given demos as well as clinics and lessons throughout the event. Please join us at lionslegacyrideforlife.com for more information.
If you're interested in a career working with horses, then Martin Community College is the place for you. MCC's Equine Technology program is the only one offered among North Carolina's 58 community colleges. The program is management-oriented with classes in breeding, nutrition, training, riding, equine health, and more. Graduates can leave MCC prepared to work in recreational and racing barns, breed to discipline-oriented farms, or assistant farm management. For more information, contact Martin Community College today.
The first thing we want to talk about is on your little booklet there. The title is Equine Nutrition Straight from the Horse's Mouth. I've been making horse feed for 30 years, trying to make my customer happy so that I have a business and it be profitable. But I found out that as I've gotten older, I'm 55 years old, and I've been doing this for, I'm 55. I first started working with my dad when I was 10 years old, so that's 45 years. And Matt's got a similar story like that too. I'm around to where I think about the horse first and the customer second. And my point of view on this is, whenever you look at the horse, what his needs aren't getting met a lot of times because we think it's something else. And that's the kind of things we're going to talk about tonight. If you could talk to a horse and you could ask him the one thing that he needs, what would it be? What'd you say? Grass is the answer. Don't care what the question is, he's going to say grass. I could go to feed my mules tomorrow morning, and my head mule, the boss, will go stand at the gate where the grass is at. He knows to tell me that we need to go get grass. What I've learned over the years, and I studied animal science, didn't really study horses, their digestive tract is just like ours, except they have a pouch between their small intestine and large intestine to digest grass. That is the main difference in their body and ours. And what drives them to want grass is the bacteria in that pouch. The bacteria in that pouch are giving hormone feedback to those horses constantly. And what they're telling me is I want grass. And when we aren't doing that, that's when they start to have digestive problems. So every time we go to do something for a horse, let's assume that this is the truth. That's the truth that I've learned the past 30 years. And every time we do something different than that and we get farther and farther away from the truth, that's when you're going to need the fireman over here. Now, I'm going to ask Matt, what's the worst case scenario you've ever seen of somebody not letting the horse eat grass?
Worst case I've seen, people decided they spent a lot of money on a horse, so they built him a nice big padded stall. And the horse ate 25 pounds of grain a day, and he got one flake of hay. I wondered why we had laminitis and a crazy horse.
Well, that is a real crazy example, but it does happen, and it happens all the time. And I watch people build barns. They think it has to be done a certain way. The barn, feed buckets are put at 4 feet high. How high is the grass off the ground? You would be shocked how many people call the feed mill and say there must be something wrong with the feed because my horse knocks it out of the bucket onto the ground and then eats it. And I'm like, duh. If you would just put the bucket on the ground, we wouldn't have a problem. So my point of view after helping people feed horses for 30 years is it's not about us. The buckets look fancy, they hang on the wall. You think the horse cares about that? Okay, so that's where I have learned to think through these things at. And it's all about the horse and what he wants. Again, his answer to every question is grass. The reason I have a job today is because you don't have grass. Raise your hand if you have grass 365 days a year.
I will tomorrow.
Okay. Now, a lot of times when people come in to me and start talking to me about what they want to feed, is they tell me about their pasture. And after I ask about 15 questions, their pasture turns out to be roots hanging out of the ground about this far. That actually happens time and again. People don't realize how their animals are being treated. I found that with my mules, they are very happy if they get turned into grass one day every 2 or 3 weeks. And it makes up for not being able to have it the rest of the time. Okay, Matt, how many times have you ever been to somebody's house and they told you they had pasture?
A lot. And they have weeds or dirt. Mainly a lot of dirt.
So what you tell them they need to do as a fireman?
As those situations come along, you want to try to remedy and get them on the grass. And people say, "Well, I planted rye or I planted this," and I said, "Well, okay, you planted it. It's up 2 inches, but there's no root system, so you turn the horse out on it. He pulls it all up, mumps all the sand." I'm originally from Southwest Missouri. We don't have sand. There's no beach near the center of the United States. And in vet school, we spent about 5 minutes talking about sand and sand colic. We rode right on through that subject. And then I came out here in 2000, and sand is a big player in the world I see from colic and nutrition. And lack of grass is a good part of it. We can always tell when those situations become evident, because as the grass starts dying or the fresh green starts coming up, they leave the hay that you're feeding and they go for the little green little morsels and we eat a belly full of sand. Then you gotta call me.
Okay, when I do see people that have the opportunity to put their horses in green grass that's a foot high, I'm shocked at how many of them turn them loose out there in cold turkey with an empty stomach. And they call me back 24 hours later and want to know what the green stuff is running down their back end. And it's not the horse that's really catching it. The bacteria were not prepared to be overloaded. So whenever you switch a horse onto a new pasture, you need to have them with a full stomach. You need to turn them out a few hours at a time. And I'm shocked how many people, just because they have got a new pasture and a day later they've got a problem, and they probably need Matt to go out and check on them. Matt, what's the easiest solution for sand colic so far as to alleviate the problem immediately?
Immediate resolution of sand is fiber psyllium.
Okay. I'm going to give you an example that I ran into 25 years ago. The first time I was on the horse council, there were a couple of vets there with me on the council. We got an opportunity to do a round table discussion. Now I'd run into 4 or 5 customers who every night religiously, before they would do anything else, they would take wheat bran, about 5 or 6 pounds of wheat bran, and soak it with water for 2 hours, feed it to their horses 7 days a week. And they had been doing it for 10 years. And when I go to calculating the calcium phosphorus ratios and all this, I know the horses aren't getting what they need as far as vitamins and minerals. And I ask them, "Why are you doing this?" Because the vet told me to. So when I got an opportunity in this round table discussion to talk to these vets about why are you telling people to do this when it's an imbalanced diet, the horse looks poor, you've cut his feed, why are you doing this? He said, "We didn't do that. What we told them was your horse had colic, we either had to do surgery, we needed to have a soft diet on him, come back and see me in 2 weeks." They didn't come back in 2 weeks. 10 years later, the lady hadn't had a vacation in 10 years because she had to give that animal wet wheat bran every night. So you've got to learn to follow directions too.
My name is Scott Brookins, and I am the owner of Brookins Construction and MD Barn Master of the Carolinas. At MD Barn Master, we have the best warranty in the business. We have a variety of designs to choose from. Our barns are easily customizable to meet your needs. We have financing available to those who qualify. Our barns are fire resistant and they hold their value with little maintenance. Let us build your dream barn for you today.
You've worked hard and carefully planned your career. You've built your business. Shouldn't your farm's appearance reflect who you are, your success? Like a timeless work of art to be your legacy, handed down through your generations. Let T&T Lawn Care design, install, and maintain a landscape to reflect who you've become. With our uncompromising attention to detail, we deliver high value in a competitive market. Call T&T Lawn Care today, 336-574-0410.
Is Debbie Crocker here?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, come on up, Debbie. Debbie asked to come see me one day, and she came into my office and we discussed her situation. And you were collecting horses, is that correct?
I have, at the time, I had 23.
Okay.
I have 19 now.
Good.
And we had gone to the state fair, and my husband seen the silo, and we thought, I wonder what this would cost. And my husband said, well, call and check. So I said, okay. So I took all of my feed bags, 23 horses, at that time 23 horses, I'm feeding for an hour. It takes me 1 hour every night in my tack room, feeding all my horses. 23 buckets on the floor, fixing all their senior horses, draft horses, miniature horses. I'm fixing their feed according to the type of horse and breed of horse. So I take all my bags and I go up and see Mr. Dunn. So he says to me, how many stores are you going to? I'm going to 3 different stores, Tractor Supply, Gillis Hill Farms, and I'm going to Southern Gin and Grain. He says, and what are you buying all? And I said, I'm buying all of this. I'm buying oats, feed pulp, high fiber hay, biotin, senior feed, alfalfa pellets, and Ultra Sheen. So basically you can see that I was buying everything from head to toe to feed my horses, to fix their digestive system and everything. He says, what can I do? I said, I need something to feed all of my horses, from my big Belgian all the way down to my miniature horse. He said, how old are they? I have a year-old to a 23-year-old. He said, I'm going to make your life easy. He says, but I'm going to say something. Are you not going to get offended? I said, no, I'm not going to get offended. He says, Debbie, you are a tack room witch doctor. I said, okay, just tell me what I need to do to feed all of my horses. So 1.5 hours of feeding my 23 horses is now down to 45 minutes of feeding all of my horses, tying them up and feeding them. My Belgian draft has no cracks in her hooves anymore after 1 year, and it takes a miraculous crunch on her hooves. Colicky, no issues. Digestive system is clear. Everybody is fat. Nobody fades during the summer. Nobody fades during the winter. He has created me a feed that feeds everybody, to 1/3 of a cup for my little miniatures, to 2 quarts for my Belgian draft. So he has saved me an abundance of money. I went from $1,200 a month to $600 a month in feed.
Go on, how much I'm paying to say this.
He hasn't paid me nothing. I'm doing this because I know what some of us go through as a horse owner. And if it wasn't for Paul Dunn in Mule City, I would still be paying that much money, and I would have to have gotten rid of some of my horses. Or one of my horses would have gone through singing colicking, or I would have lost somebody because of not knowing what to do. So people like Paul Dunn being there on my side to help me feed my horses has saved me. And I have beautiful horses. And along that way now, I have gone and helped other people rescue horses and save them with this feed. And it even puts a larvicide into my feed now to help with the fly control. So I suggest if you want to make your life simple and have more time to spend with the horses, I'd go to Mule City and get your feed.
What I do when someone like Debbie walks in my door, most people that are new to me come walk in cold turkey. Somebody sent them to me, Again, I have learned after 30 years that my heart's with the horse, but I've got to get her to write me a check. I'm not doing it to make money, but if she doesn't write the check, our horse is going to get taken care of. That's where I'm coming from. And what she did was she showed me all this stuff. It was very simple. What I did was I looked at what she was doing and I incorporated it into getting it into a balanced ration. Now, balance doesn't mean so much of this and so much of that. It means getting ratios of different minerals to match each other so the horses can utilize it, and there won't be, the minerals will be in balance with each other. It's just that simple. And the time it saved her, if she hadn't saved a penny of money, she would still be up here today doing the same testimony, just because of what we were able to do. I was shocked she was able to save that much money. But if you start going store to store and buying a 50-pound bag of this and a 50-pound bag of that, and you go home and play witch doctor, literally, I coined this term. I'm fixing to tell you a story. Okay, Dave, you can go sit down. The thing you need to understand on this, balance is important. I'm not smart enough to get it right on my own. And I can't believe that there are horse people who will go buy product A that's perfectly good. Okay, let me go back in history. Why do people take a perfectly good feed and cut it with oats? I've got to go back and I start asking people questions. I get answers like, that's what my daddy did.
Grandpa.
Well,
Grandpa always did it.
Grandpa had a crib with oats that were worth 50 cents a bushel. That's the reason he couldn't give the stuff away. That's the reason he was feeding it to the horses. People, okay, y'all, if y'all don't laugh at this, I can't deliver. I had a girl walk in the feed mill one day and say, I want to buy a bag of this sweet feed, a bag of oats, a bag of wheat bran, and a bag of this. And I knew something was amiss. I said, why? Y'all know how I am to know me. And she said, because so-and-so said that's how I'm supposed to feed my horse. Oh, you're talking about so-and-so who bought their first horse 3 months ago? Okay, here's the point to be learned. I want everybody to stand up in here who has owned horses for 30 years or longer. Stand up.
I don't think I can.
Now, if you've only owned a horse for a year or 2 years or 5 years, you need to look at one of these people and say, I want to take you to dinner next week because you're going to teach me everything not to do. Do not listen to somebody who got in the horse business 3 months before you did. Matt, got any comments?
No, I totally agree.
Let's see. He's not going to stand there now. But I deal with this a lot. But the people who are most satisfied are ones who have a problem and we figure out how to solve it. And a lot of times I found that people who have trouble keeping weight on horses, I've learned to ask questions. There's something about the way what you're feeding, how you're feeding it, that isn't right. Because unless something else is metabolically wrong with the horse, he should be fine. I'm shocked how many times I have somebody with a horse that cannot gain weight. They're only feeding them 1 time a day. Now, I know that most of y'all feed 2 times a day. That's reasonable. I have found people that have problems getting horses to gain weight. And I will tell, and they'll tell me exactly what they're feeding. I see nothing wrong with it. I said, I want you to do one thing. Can you feed them a 3rd time a day? And they'll say, yeah, I can do that. I can feed them before I go to bed. I said, I don't want you to feed any more feed. I want you to take the amount that you're feeding in the morning and cut it by 1/3 and save it for bedtime. Let's go back to the original thing we started with tonight. What does a horse want to do? How many hours a day does he graze? At least sun up to sundown, or longer. So when you give him a gulp in the morning and a gulp in the afternoon, you're stressing his system and he's got a lull in between. If you just spread that out, he'll take the same amount of food. You don't spend any more money, it just takes 5 more minutes to feed him a third time. A lot of times that horse will turn out and go, just flush right out. This is Paul Dunn from Mule City Feeds. We've been delivering horse feed to Eastern North Carolina since 1981. And not only have we been delivering it, we've been leading the industry so far as compliance with state North Carolina and giving the best quality product possible. We test everything that comes in from the local farmers, we do quality assurance, and we deliver the product. Give us a chance. Your neighbors giving us a chance. We'd like to have your business here at Mule City Feeds. Also, when you deal with the big feed companies, you might have to wait 4 or 5 days just to get the feed. Give us a call and you'll be shocked we'll deliver in an hour.
The North Carolina proudly presents 5-minute lessons again this year at the North Carolina State Fair. We are so excited because the 5-minute lessons will be available free of charge to anyone who would like to participate all 10 days of the fair, anytime between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Hi, I'm Rick Peniston. I train my horse Jake to trust me and be brave in order to face the obstacle challenges and win in extreme cowboy races. It takes dedication, hard work, and innovation to train a champion. As an attorney representing injured persons, I use the same skills to win compensation for people injured in accidents or on-the-job injuries. If you've been injured in an accident or on the job and need advice, call me. I want to hear from you.
We're your neighborhood source for everything you need from your farm to your home.
At Harper Sales and Service, a division of Harper Landscaping, we can cater to all your mowing needs. Whether you need to start out with a beginner series for those smaller lawns, you can work your way all the way up to a 0 turn and even get into those bigger areas where you might have an acre or 2 or more.
My animals depend on me, and I depend on Harper Equipment Sales and Services to keep me running. From my weed eater to my tractor, they can fix it all.
When you look for Harper Landscaping, it's no sweat.
Sitting